the games queued up here, but anyway, there they are. Let's go ahead and start off with Michigan State at Nebraska. That's going to be a 12 o'clock Eastern kickoff in Nebraska. Michigan State opened the betting as the 2-point favorites and the total at 52.5. And since those markets opened this one up, we're actually seeing steady movement toward Nebraska and the under. Right now, Michigan State is just -1, with the total moving all the way down to 48.5. That is a full 4-point move downward. So once again, Michigan State opened 2, now 1. Total open 52.5 down to 48.5. 58% are leaning Nebraska, 65% shaded toward the under. And at the moment, Nebraska is plus 105 for some money line cash. Now, the Cornhuskers lost 11 out of their last 13 against the spread on their home field. Once again, 2-11 ATS in their last 13 at home, dating back to last season. Meanwhile, Michigan State is allowing just 14 points per contest away from home. And when it comes to the scoring, we're looking at 3-1 to the under in Michigan State's last 4 games away from home. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Michigan State -1 in the under, 48.5 in this one. Next game, Citadel, Alabama, 12 o'clock kickoff in Alabama, Bryant-Denny Stadium. Bama opened the betting as the 51.5-point favorites. Can't believe this game's on the board. But anyway, Bama opened 51.5, total 61. Since those markets opened this one up, not a whole lot of movement on the spread, although we are seeing some upward movement on the total, obviously, especially if folks are taking Bama to cover. Bama remains the 51.5-point favorite, with the total opening at 61, moving upward to 62.5. 60% are leaning Bama, 51% shaded toward the over, and at the moment, Citadel is plus 200,000 for some money line cash, if your book is even offering that play. But anyway, Bama 7-3 against the spread overall, 4-2 ATS in their games at home. This Bama offense is putting up 49 points per contest. They're also rushing for 215 yards per game. And scoring-wise, Bama's 4-2 to the over in their games at home. Not going to be a big unit play, but I got to at least say that I've had some action in this one. Give me Bama -51.5 and the over 62 and a hook in this one. All right, next game, Ohio State at Maryland, 12 o'clock kickoff this Saturday. Ohio State opened the betting as the 14-point favorites and the total at 57 even. And since those markets opened this one up, no real surprises here as Ohio State is taking a little action. We're also seeing a little action toward the over. Ohio State's now -14.5 with the total moving upward to 58.5. So once again, the Buckeyes open 14, now 14.5. Total open 57, up to 58.5. 67% are still leaning Ohio State, 73% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, Maryland is plus 500 for some money line cash. Now, this Ohio State offense, they're scoring just 28 points per contest on the road. Their defense is also giving up 27 points per contest on the road as well. Meanwhile, this Maryland offense, they're amassing 32 points on average per game at home, 4-2 against the spread in their games at home as well. Meanwhile, both teams are 3-2 to the under in their last 5 respectively. So with all that said and done, I like Maryland to get the job done, at least against the spread. Give me Maryland plus 15 after buying the half a point and the under, 58.5 in this one. Next game, NC State, Louisville, 12-20 Louisville. The NC State Wolfpack opened the betting as the 18.5-point favorites and the total at 66 even. And since those markets opened this one up, we're actually seeing steady movement toward Louisville and the under. Right now, NC State is -16.5 with the total moving downward to 63 and a hook. Once again, NC State open 18.5 down to 16.5. Total open 66 down to 63 and a hook. 72% are back on NC State, 52% shaded toward the over, and at the moment, the Cardinals are plus $6 for some money line cash. Now, this Louisville offense is scoring just 21 points per contest. They're also gaining 229 yards passing per game, which really is not a lot, especially compared to the Lamar Jackson days. Meanwhile, Louisville is 0-5 ATS in their last 5 games. They failed to cover in 4 out of their last 5 at home. This Louisville defense is allowing 42 points per contest and 282 yards rushing. Now, scoring-wise, Louisville 7-2 to the over, 3-1 to the over in their games at home. So with all that said and done, I'm going to purchase the hook, buy it down, and take NC State minus 16. And the over, 63.5 in this one. Next game, Syracuse, Notre Dame, 2:30 Eastern kickoff at Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish open the betting as the 10-point double-digit favorites, and the total at 66.5. And since those markets opened this one up, not a whole lot of movement on the spread, although we are seeing some movement downward on the total. Right now, Notre Dame still minus 10, but we saw the total open at 66.5, move downward to 65 even. Now, 63% are leaning Syracuse, 72% are shaded toward the over now, and at the moment, Syracuse is plus 325 for some money line cash. Now, Syracuse is 8-2 straight up overall, sneaky good this season. They're also 7-3 against the spread in those 10 ball games. Syracuse has marquee wins over NC State, UNC, Florida State, and they lost to Clemson by 4 points. Played them really, really tough. Lost to Clemson 27-23. Now, Notre Dame, they haven't been real good against the number in their past handful of games. They failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4 ball games. And scoring-wise, we are looking at 4-2 to the under in Notre Dame's last 6 at home. So with all that said and done, give me Syracuse plus 10 in the under, 65 total points in this one. Next game, Miami, Florida at Virginia Tech, 3:30 kickoff in Blacksburg. Miami opened as the 3-point favorites and the total at 50 even. And since those markets opened this one up, Miami's taking a bunch of money right now. They're actually the 6.5-point favorite with the total moving upward to 51 even. So once again, Miami opened 3, now 6.5, total open 50, up to 51 even. 53% are leaning toward Virginia Tech, 51% shaded toward the under. And at the moment, Virginia Tech is plus $2 for some money line cash. Now, Miami has not been good against the number this season. They failed to cover in 7 out of their 10 ball games. They're also 0-5 ATS in their last 5 games as well. This Miami defense is giving up 25 points per contest, 172 yards on the ground. Meanwhile, their offense is putting up just 22 points per contest and throwing for 193 yards per game. Now, this Virginia Tech offense, a little bit different story. They're putting up 34 points per game. They're rushing for 168 points per contest as well. Virginia is also 6-3 against the spread in their last 9 at home, taking on Miami if you like historical figures. And scoring-wise, we're looking at 4-0 to the under in Miami's last 4 ball games. So with all that said and done, I'm going to purchase the hook, buy it up, and take Virginia Tech plus 7 at home, catching the plus points. Let's try that again. Let's bring her home, Brock. All right, with all that said and done, I'm going to take Virginia Tech plus 7 after buying the half a point in the under. 51 total points in this one. There you go, Brock. That's a good read there. All right, next game, West Virginia at Oklahoma State, 3:30 kickoff at Oklahoma State. The Mountaineers of West Virginia open the betting as the 5-point favorites and the total at 70.5. And since those markets opened this one up, no real surprises here as West Virginia is taking a little money. We're also seeing a little money toward the over as well. So once again, West Virginia open 5, now 5.5. Total open 70 a hook, up to 72.5. 53% are leaning West Virginia, 81% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, Oklahoma State is plus 180. For some money line cash. Now, this Oklahoma State offense is scoring 42 points per contest. They're rushing for 201 yards per game on the ground. Meanwhile, this West Virginia defense is allowing 30 points per contest on the road. They're also allowing 177 rush yards per game on the road as well. Now, West Virginia, 2-3 ATS in their last 5, 2-4 against the spread in their last 6, taking on Oklahoma State, dating back to the past couple of seasons. Meanwhile, when it comes to the scoring, we're looking at 3-0 to the over for West Virginia in their last trio of games, 2-1 to the over in Oklahoma State's last 3 themselves. So with all that said and done, give me Oklahoma State plus 6 after buying the half a point and the over 72.5 in this one. All right, next and final game for the show. It is going to be Cincinnati at UCF, 8 o'clock tip-off, kickoff, not tip-off. It's not basketball, it's football. 8 o'clock kickoff in Central Florida. UCF opened the betting as the 8-point favorites and the total at 58. Since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing a slight fade of UCF We're also seeing a slight fade of the under. Right now, UCF is -7, totals up to 61. UCF opened 8, down to 7, total open 58, up to 61. 51% are leaning Cincinnati, 73% shaded toward the over, and at the moment, the Bearcats are plus 250 for some money line cash. Now, if you didn't know, UCF is 9-0 straight up for the year, 6-3 against the spread. This UCF offense is putting up 46 points per contest on their home field. They're also rushing for 278 yards per game. Cincy on the other side, they lost 24-17 to Temple. Their defense is also allowing over 100 rush yards per game. This Cincinnati defense is allowing over 100 yards. The Cincinnati defense is allowing over 100 rush. The Cincinnati defense is allowing over 100 rush yards per game. Good job, Brock. All right, UCF 3-6 to the over so far for the season. Cincinnati 0-5 to the over in their games away from home. So with all that said and done, give me UCF -7 and the under 61 total points in this one.